Hello.
Oh, Danielita.
How are you?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday
It's
to you
it's a holiday here in Colombia.
too.
Do you know what holiday it is?
No,
Me neither. So,
I have no idea. Do you want me to check? Let's do it. So.
Religious one, I would bet.
Yeah.
Saint.
I mean, like the 90% of the
Maybe.
holidays we have here.
Yeah, 95, I would say.
What's the sound? Like the water bottle?
Oh, maybe. Yeah.
Oh.
It's the cap. Is it going to drive you crazy?
No. I thought that there was like something.
Like a leak, like a gas leak?
Yeah. I was scared. Motivo.
No. So just put
I know.
Virgin.
San José.
Saint
El
Joseph.
Día del Hombre. San José, que corresponde a la celebración de lo que se conoce como el Día del Hombre.
So let's keep Saint Joseph then.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. Good enough. So, how are you, Danny?
I'm fine. How's everyone? How are you and how's everyone?
Thank you. I'm good. Thank you. Paston, hello. Rosalind, hello.
Hi, Pastor.
I'm so excited
Hi,
to see your correspondence today. I am
I'm excited too.
Super insecure about it.
Why?
But because it was exciting because I did it. Mikhail, how are you? Oliver, how are you? It was super exciting because I tried to do something new today. Well,
okay.
not new.
New-ish.
I guess. Cody, how you doing? Robin.
Hi, Robin.
Rose are here.
Yeah.
Margo.
Rose.
Hola, ¿cómo estás? Buenas tardes. So new in the sense that I don't think I've done paintings like this for a very long time.
Okay.
Julián, ¿cómo está? So I'm squeezing in some shout outs while we're saying this. Andrés, ¿cómo va? Un abrazo, Andrés. So, for the people who don't know, because we usually...
A tiny recap. Yeah.
Yeah,
If
little
maybe
bit of-
you're new here.
Yeah,
You
just to
don't
tell
know what we're
people
doing
what
here?
we do on Mondays.
So, hi, I'm Danny. He's Nicolas.
I'm Danny. And together we are...
Our Painted
oh,
Lives.
Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. So, no, what we do on Mondays is what we've decided to call visual correspondence, which is a super simple idea, which is initially, the way we jump-started it was I painted this painting, this image that I presented to Danny, and then Danny, in an answer to that image, an answer of sorts, let's say, she does, whatever she wants. She could do a sculpture. She's done paintings, sculptures. We could do drawings. We could do pretty much anything. If Danny wants to do a GIF animation at some point, that's totally cool. That's going to be the response.
Mm-hmm.
So the idea is just to keep, kind of the rally going as much as we can. So just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
And we do this every Monday. So now it's my turn. So I'm going to answer to an image that Danny proposed to me last Monday.
Mm-hmm.
But more importantly, also answer to the conversation that we had last Monday. That is like an integral part of what we're doing. So it's not only, yes, it is visual, but the correspondence part, the epistolary part, means that we are communicating with each other, not just visually, but we're also just trying to contextualize what we did. Maybe, I don't know if too much of why we do something, but at least
Sometimes why.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
at least there's intent behind it. So I'll get started.
Okay.
I think that the thing that blew me away from the piece that you did last week was how it was charged with feeling. Now, that may seem, and I'm sure that a lot of people can use those things in a very superficial way, but I think I mean it quite literally. Like, I was able to understand the sentiment behind the what you painted, and it was confounding to me, I feel, because I don't usually paint that way. I really don't. I started kind of like a little bit of self-examination, trying to see, and I was trying to go back, years and years and years into my painting. And I don't know. I think, when I want to paint people, I'm sure that there is an effort on my part to try to paint the humanity in people.
Mm-hmm.
But I very rarely think about how does this feel,
Okay.
and trying to paint how something feels, like literally how
Okay.
something feels.
So it's not something you think about while you're executing.
I don't know. I don't think so. I think
Okay.
it's obviously in my radar,
Mm-hmm.
but I think I'm quite a traditional painter at heart. So I'm always going to feel that my first response to what I'm, trying to interpret through paint is going to be like visual.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
I'm trying to answer to that visual stimuli, and maybe I'm trying to be faithful to it. Maybe I like form in it. Maybe I like how the light is falling.
Yeah, or maybe you want to talk about like an aspect that you exaggerate, but it's like a physical aspect more than...
maybe. I think
Okay.
I really do think that in that sense I'm a very formal painter, and that's when I say like I'm a very simple painter. I'm not trying to be like humble bragging here. No, I really do feel I'm a very simple painter.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm actually quite proud of being a simple painter. There's not much to my painting, I feel, but I feel what is in it is very heartfelt.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how I kind of, if I had to understand myself, if I had to define myself, I would say, maybe it's like a shallow little pool, but it's refreshing as hell. Like it is something that you would enjoy. If not, you can't dip your whole body in it, but at least you can dip your feet in it. So it'll give you a sense of refreshment. I think that that's my painting. There's other people's painting that are, it's a far, larger pool, and it's far deeper, and there's layers to everything that they do. I don't know about my painting, and I'm not trying to undersell my painting, because I really do feel that what I do it because it is something that I love about painting, that I genuinely love about painting, and hopefully in the end, like that communicates. But when I was doing some self-examination, as I was saying, I noticed that I very rarely track back onto something and say, "Oh, this is what I'm painting," but I'm also going to inject it, with how I feel about the subject matter, the specific subject matter. So that was very strange for me, like realizing that I don't really see it as a hole or a gap or a void.
I think it's just a different quality, because I think your painting and the things you create have different qualities than what I create, and it's not like I'm lacking something. It's just that you are a different artist.
Yeah, exactly. So I very consciously concentrate on other aspects. But when I thought of, okay, this is something that that I should, try, because it did feel that foreign to me. It did feel that strange, saying, wow, I don't know if I've ever injected this into my painting. Mm-hmm. I thought, okay, what does that mean even? Like, how do you paint something when you say, I want to paint something that, how I felt it? I want to represent something, but not for what it is, but how I felt that experience, like sensibly felt that experience. And I tried looking into my brain and saying, what can I paint about? Mm-hmm. Because, maybe like if I paint you, I paint you lovingly. If I paint Samu, I paint him lovingly. If I paint Fer, I paint her lovingly. So maybe there is love when I'm painting something. But I don't think, aside from pushing or from being expressive or from being playful, I don't think I've ever, really said, I'm going to dive into how something feels to me. And I was trying to look into my brain, into my vault of memories, and saying, what is something that I could paint? Because this is weird when you just have to from zeros say, okay, I need to paint something and try to describe, because this is the tough part, describe how I feel without it being like, I would guess, over dramatic.
Okay.
Because I don't want to, I don't want to like, if despair, I don't want to paint myself, like this, very literal definition of despair. I wanted to see if I could go back and say, okay, this could be the source of a painting. So I have this memory when I was little. So I was probably, and this was like something that prevailed for years, but it is one of those feelings that I think accompanied me for many, many years. Mm-hmm. But it started when I was little. So I'm going to speculate and say when I was maybe 9 or 10 years old. Mm-hmm. Maybe. I'm trying to think of Fede and trying to see if I was younger than her. And I was probably younger than her. So let's say, I was 9 or 8. Mm-hmm. So when I was going to sleep, I used to feel this, and maybe somebody here has also felt this, but I used to feel, I'm going to try to describe it with my own arm.
Do you want to move here?
No,
so we can see both of your arms?
Oh, I'm fine. I just need one. But I used to feel, and my arms would be, I would just be like in a
like
facing up,
bed?
like resting, facing up in bed, arms kind of lying down, and I used to feel that my bones here, up until my joint, up until my my wrist, mm-hmm. would start to get super, super thin, like super, super, super thin. Okay. Like all my bones, all my muscles, everything would start to get super thin. It's almost like when
was it like progressive?
No,
like, did you feel they were shrinking?
Well, not progressive. Like this would be in a moment, like it would start and it would feel
like super.
Or
it was like from one moment
like,
to the other.
Let me describe it, and maybe this will be super easy to understand. You know when you stretch caramel or melcocha, and you're stretching it and you're stretching it. You know when it
super
gets like
thin,
really, really thin, like that. Mm-hmm. So I would feel my hands were same, the size that whatever my hands were, but because like everything would like stretch so thinly, I would feel as if my hands would weigh 1,000,000 tons because that little thin, whatever was left of my joints and muscles would never be able to like pick up my hand. That was like, again, it was like, as heavy as like a tortoise. Mm-hmm. And I was like, that is a cool feeling because I used to be able to pinpoint what that felt like. And in my mind, it was like super, super vivid.
Can I ask something?
Yeah, sure.
Was it only here?
No, it was
or
only...
was it like all the...
It was kind of like in my joints. So imagine like thin joint. It was really like a body thing. But the one that
but no, I'm saying like thin here, but,
but joints.
Here too?
So joints,
but no, so joint.
So shoulder, elbow, wrist, knees, so ankles. It was really, imagine just like your body becoming like super, super thin and then fragile. Just a joint.
Yeah.
Yeah, just, I don't know if it was fragile, but it was almost like as if it was not strong enough to pick up, whatever you wanted to pick up. You pick up your arm or pick up your shoulder, like your elbow. But the one that I remember most vividly was just how it felt on my hands. But this was like, maybe it sounds like a cool feeling, but for me it was horrifying.
Yeah.
It was horrifying, like absolutely horrifying.
And did you check up all the time that you were okay? Or would you try to live?
I was like, it was very weird because it's one of those feelings that was horrifying, but it also like mesmerized me. Like I was like, oh my God, this is actually happening. So it's almost as if I would let it sit in for like a little bit so that I could really feel that it was like super, super thin. Mm-hmm. And then at some point I would just really try with my whole body to like lift my arm. And it just felt like a Herculean effort. It was really, really weird.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to paint that. Because that's such a vivid, memory. And like I said, this probably went until I was, I don't know, like 14, 15. Like I would get, it was very, very, it was a very obvious feeling when I was young, but and it started to kind of disappear as I got older. Maybe it has to do with growing, like growing pains.
Maybe.
And
yeah.
but just my body or my brain assimilated it super weirdly.
Yeah.
And I had like a really vivid imagination, so I'm sure that all those feelings, like I would just turn to 11 and just make up all these things.
Yeah.
But I've never painted anything like that. I've never painted anything that that it could even resemble that. I remember when I was older, because this happened when I was a kid. And do you know that painting of Dali?
Which
the one that has the horse? It's the saint. The martyrdom saint, could somebody help me with that? It's the horse with the outstretched legs. The one of the horses with the outstretched legs. Maybe somebody can help me with the title. I'm not like a huge Salvador Dali fan, but I know it's the painting has a name of a saint. When I saw that painting of those, do you?
I know it.
Okay.
Yeah, I know the painting.
I was like, oh my God, like how can somebody paint something that I felt when I was young?
Yeah. So it was exactly
blew
how
my
you
mind.
felt.
It just blew my mind. I remember first time I saw it, I was like, that's how I felt my arms felt, how my hands felt like, how my arms felt like when I was sleeping. And it was like incredible. So that's like a little anecdote. But so I decided, okay, I'm going to paint this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started thinking, how the hell do you paint that? Like, because I even did like some drawings trying to like be literal about it and just outstretch something and then have this kind of heavy hand. And I just couldn't make any sense of it. And I was thinking, okay, if that's the image that I want to paint, maybe, how do I go about it? So, and this was Saint Anthony, dice Gabriel, gracias Gabriel. So I decided to do something that I mean, it hasn't happened for years, or I haven't done it seriously, let's say. I mean, this was a serious attempt. Temptation of Saint Anthony. Gracias, Julian. So I decided to paint from my imagination. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Which was weird for me.
But you're good at it.
I don't know if I'm good at it, but I feel like I can paint. Like I understand how to paint. But it was also super scary because I've grown so accustomed to observing things.
Yeah.
So that's why I always call nature almost like the most beautiful, starting point in the universe is nature. But it can also be very enslaving. Like if you decide that nature is your start, but also nature is your goal, you have a very tough road ahead, because nature is like, sort of like snake eating its own tail. Like it is going to be everything to you, and you're going to be constantly referring back to nature. And I think that nature has been my guide forever. Well, not forever. I think that when I was a kid, I was super happy. I was really having a blast just painting, or not painting, but drawing anything from my head. Yeah. Like it's so sad because when I was a kid, I didn't really feel limited. How could you ever feel limited by imagination? That happens a lot
when you're a kid. I mean,
right. How could you ever?
Can do whatever you think about. Like
exactly.
My cousin has nowadays he's painting monsters all the time.
Amazing.
And he can make like 20 monsters.
Yeah.
And as you say, it's like you're never gonna reach a limit.
Never.
Imagination.
It's Bill
has
Watterson's
no limit,
genius, Calvin Hobbes. Like that is imagination. That is literally what you have in front of you when you decide, I'm going to paint from imagination. But the thing is, when you've been painting from life for a long time, there's this anchor that you have, in it tying you to nature, that is always going to feel like, okay, but does that really feel like whatever you're going to try to paint? Or does it really look like that?
You can compare it to something.
So it's very annoying. I've noticed that it's almost like a hindrance. It's super, super uncomfortable to always have to lug that around to say, I've painted so much how things look, or I've started, at least my starting point has always been how things look, that when you decide I'm going to do things from my own imagination, you forget that you could do anything. That you could do anything. It's boundless. Like, you could literally, like, that is the point of doing something from your imagination. You could be wrong about a million things, but it doesn't matter because you are imagining a world, and a world that doesn't really have to be, again, bound by these rules, by these earthly rules. So I think that this week I confronted myself a lot with what that meant. Like, going back to saying, I love what's in my brain. I can't tap into what's in my brain because it's I think, there's a ton of like blockades that nature has constructed in front of those things, so that it makes it harder for me to reach back. But I wanted to give it a shot, and I think I enjoyed it, dearly. I think it was amazing. There was a moment that I felt like I was doing a part of the body, and you'll see in just a sec, that I felt lost.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, geez, I have to look at something because I'm super, super lost, and I can't figure out this tiny little part of what I want to paint. I had all my drawings set up. I had everything set up, but I just didn't know how much a form turned. And I was very annoyed at myself, but I said, come on, this is not, like, there's no cheating. So,
and you
so I started,
feel.
so I Googled shirtless man in bed.
Okay.
So, yeah, and I had to download, like, I downloaded like 15 of those pictures into my phone, which made it, it's not thinking bad about it.
No.
But it made it for a very interesting phone if you would have opened up my phone at that moment.
Yeah. Funny results, I think.
Yeah. It was stuff that you expect, stuff that you don't expect. But that helped me, with that little moment of the shoulder. Like, none of the pictures had anything to do with what I was actually painting.
No, but
they gave me tiny bits of information to say, okay, that's what I'm trying to do with the shoulder. So that's the only thing I think I needed, like, help with, that little bit of help with. But everything else was just me kind of saying, okay, let's do this. And I decided at some point not to be, like I said, that feeling of the physical feeling of things just kind of outstretching had to be there, but it didn't have to be like
literal,
super, super obvious. I mean, it's there, but it doesn't have to be super obvious. And the other thing is, I tried to be reminiscent about this being how I felt, but I also thought I don't have to paint myself as a kid for this to be a feeling, because it's a memory, but I don't have to. There's nothing about it that has to be tied to a specific moment in time. I just remember it happening when I was a kid.
Well,
but
it's a memory it's a memory of yours, so it still works if it's you.
And it's a very sensible memory. So it doesn't, like, if I close my eyes right now, I can imagine my body feeling that. Like,
I get what you're saying. Maybe remember me after you show it to me, because when I was a kid, I had a similar, not that experience, but I have something that happens and still happens a lot. I think I've told you.
Okay.
So
that's, I think that's the context for this. It was super simple. On Monday, I didn't know what to do, but on Tuesday, I was afraid of what I wanted to do. Yeah. Because it's like, oh, I'm going to paint from life. I'm going to paint from my imagination.
Then like, oh, what
and we haven't done
doing?
Many. We've done, I mean, I kind of mix imagination when I do me as Hulk, or when I do the elephant. You remember the elephant, like the Magnola elephant warrior with the sword, with Excalibur.
But that's why I say you're good.
Well,
I mean, because I'm the type of person that couldn't do anything.
I'm sure you could. 100%. I'm sure you could. Because, for example, when you're modeling things, you can.
No, when
100%.
I model, yeah. But if I don't know why. Like, if you say sculpt this, like, my brain knows how to do it by memory. Like, maybe I'm not gonna do it super accurately, but you know what I'm trying to do.
Yeah.
But not when I'm trying to do it like in 2 dimensions.
Maybe you could
like
be
drawing,
like James
painting.
Gurney and sculpt it first, and then based on your sculpture, you can draw it.
I would have to be that.
Which would be really cool.
Yeah.
So
a little time
consuming. Yeah. You need like at least 10 days.
Yeah.
for that. But anyways, so painted from my imagination. Yeah, and it was also. I also realized how much of my own manners of representing, whatever it was that I was representing, like I don't want to say style, but just those heavy kind of distortions and those shapes that I usually kind of go back to, how prevalent they are when you're painting from your imagination, because that's your visual vocabulary, or that's what you're sensitive to. So that's what you tend to fall back on time and time again. I think that when we were talking with Eliza, she was describing how you're just drawn to shapes, and those are the shapes that you constantly evoke, and that you kind of constantly feed upon to do, in her case, to do incredible drawings and paintings.
Yeah.
So I still feel that this was more of oh wow, I want to do this again. Like I want to paint like this again. And maybe it's something that changes what Mondays mean for me now.
Wow,
it was so cool.
That's cool.
Because it was very tough, but it was cool in the sense that it felt like painting was a little bit new to me again.
Okay. So you're like interested in trying to explore more of that side.
I think so. A lot of times people, ask me like, oh, could you work from imagination? And I always kind of, not begrudgingly, but I always sometimes very sadly say, I think I was better at it when I was younger, far younger. And now it's like I'm this boring adult that just has to look at everything. Robin says, Ruprecht was entirely from imagination, which is amazing. I'm going to say, technically, no. He sometimes references like a few things. But yeah, he's amazing. He's obviously one of a huge reference for me. And also Inka Essenhai, I feel. I don't know if people know Inka Essenhai's work, but she's enormous for me in that sense. I remember when I first, and I think we referenced her in one of our videos. Do you remember the time that I referenced the guy that did the Pink Floyd The Wall posters? Could you guys help me out here on chat? Yeah, it's heavily stylized, heavily stylized. But I remember, and I only remember that because my brother used to have a Pink Floyd poster. I still adore that poster. And when I saw Inka Essenhai's work for the first time, I was like, oh my God, this is like animation plus, Pink Floyd, The Wall poster. It just, her line work was, it's probably some of the most immaculate line work that I've ever seen. I think, for example, James Jean wouldn't be James Jean if it wasn't for Inka Essenhai's like earlier work, and some of her more contemporary work, but she's incredible to me. She's absolutely incredible. So I think that kind of heavy stylized version is something that I was like really influenced by. So I do think that's present in the painting. I very much so think that's present.
And I was gonna say,
it's very timid, I feel still, but it's because this was me kind of finding the courage to say, okay, let's do this, and then midway saying, oh my God, I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
But I was very I mean, I was excited about it.
Yeah, but I was gonna.
Yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. No, go
ahead. Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say that it's interesting because, for example, when Robin talked about Ruprecht, you were like, yeah, but no. And I think that it's super weird because I don't know why when we worked from imagination, like you use the word cheating, like that you were cheating because you were trying to see
an image
of how it looks.
Yeah.
And I think it's not cheating. Like, for example, when you did the week of the elephants, you had to study.
I had to look at
what elephants look like,
4
how
days
they
of
moved,
elephant. Yeah.
to know how they're gonna look. So I think it's not cheating, and I think it's super interesting when you are like when you're saying, I'm gonna paint, I don't know, a fox. I'm just looking to a tiny fox you have. So you say, I'm gonna have 2 days and I'm gonna study a fox.
Yeah.
Maybe you could draw, maybe you could write things.
Mm-hmm.
And then you could do it from imagination, and it's not like you were cheating.
Yeah, no.
You're still doing it from imagination. You're just like enriching the vocabulary you have in your mind. Like, and I think that's super cool. Like
Kim Jong-gi.
Yeah, I was
Kim
gonna
Jong-gi
get there. Like,
at some point has to have looked at motorcycles and tanks and every single animal that
now
he draws.
He has that vocabulary stuck in his head.
The thing is,
so he can access that and play with that because he knows how it looks.
Right. So this was sort of crash course into me saying, okay, I'm going to explore this memory. I'm going to explore this feeling, reconfigure it, because, you know, a memory is something that can be shaped.
Yeah, it's always.
Yeah,
I think when you talk about a memory, not you, but like oneself. Oneself.
When one talks.
When one talks about memories, it's not like, I think that if you could see a recording of how it happened, it always
different.
has, like something, because you're remembering it. So you're adding and subtracting information when you're remembering.
And things that were, you know.
You distort them a lot. And more when you're a kid.
Right.
I think that sometimes you feel things like 10 times. Like they were 10 times better or 10 times worse.
Yeah.
And it's like maybe you go to a trip with your family when you were a kid. And then you go back and you were like, what? This is the slide I remember? Like I thought it was like 10 meters.
1,000 miles high.
Yeah. So I think that's also super interesting about trying to paint or talk about a memory.
Yeah.
Because it's always a version of that memory, like an altered version of that memory.
It happened when I went back at some point. I don't remember when even. Went back to my old kindergarten, Centro de Psicología Infantil. So there used to be a small slide, and I was a very...
Oh, was it a slide?
I was a very cowardly kid. Super. I've always, in my life, I've had episodes, you know, if you could look back into my life, super cowardly. So I'm not ashamed of that. It just is what it is. So I was always like a very, you know, fat kid, and I was super insecure. So I remember, small slide, there was a tree that you could jump off of, like a tree stump that you could jump off of. And there was the tall slide that I was horrified of. So I would always like go to the smaller one and slide down. And then I would climb this tree and then jump from the tree. And I felt like I was, you know, parkour jump. I thought I was jumping from like a 3-story building. When I went back, the tree stump.
You're like this.
Oh my God, you could trip on it. You could trip on that tree stump.
Yeah.
The small slide, it's like a
chair.
Yeah, it was not even. And the tall slide, it was like, and I was like, but that slide produced fear, like
no,
fear,
and I get what you're saying,
like in my body.
That has happened to me too. Like I told you that I was living with my parents and my sister in an apartment that had a big park.
Yeah.
And I remember that park so big. Like I thought it was like
Central Park.
Well, no. But I remembered it maybe as the park we have in front. Like a huge park.
Well.
No, but wait. No, maybe bigger than that.
Yeah.
Maybe like the other one.
Yeah, because this one's like a square block.
Yeah, because I remember there was like a grass part where we played soccer, but it wasn't like painted or anything as a soccer field, but soccer. It had a basketball court. Oh, football, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we have to.
And it had like a super tall slide in my head. And it was like a cement.
Yeah.
Like you have to go up super high and then go down. And it was all in cement.
Yeah.
It had swings. It had like a cube that you could... pasamanos, but in a cube. It had a lot of things. And a wheel, like a rueda.
Yeah. I have no idea how to call those things in English.
But I remember we went on bikes and it was like so long. Like you did one loop and you were like, oh my
exhausted.
God. My sister was in the other side and I couldn't like listen to what
send
she
a
was
letter
saying.
to her.
Yeah. I had to like run a little bit to scream so she could hear me.
Yeah.
And it was maybe a year ago or less than a year ago that I was visiting my uncle and my cousins and my aunt. And I was coming back and my dad was like, oh, we could pass
through the park.
Yeah. No, not because it was part of the conjunto.
Oh, okay.
So it was like a private park.
Yeah.
But he was like, we could pass on that street so you can see it. And we were just in front and I was like, is this it?
Yeah.
Like I could see it through the window. It was like this. I mean, I was like, was it?
It's amazing.
It's like that. It was always like that. And it was like, I was mind blown because, I mean, I was an adult and I remembered that as being huge. I mean, if you told me how big it was, I would exaggerate. Like, I would say nowadays that it was like 10 times bigger than it was. And when I went back, I was like, really? Like,
and isn't it weird that you would be like objectively lying when you say those things, but deep, like for us, it just feels true.
Yeah, it feels true.
Yeah, that's what's amazing. So I guess that you know, that freedom of going back into memories and knowing that we could reconfigure them because they're almost meant to be reconfigured and reshaped and exaggerated. Because these are not, I'm not saying these are like, this is the story of my life. Like, no. I'm just saying like, hey, there's this anecdote where I'm speaking about how my arms felt when I would fall asleep. So there's nothing, there's nothing weird about it. Or nobody could tell me, oh, that's not true. That's not how your arms felt. It's like, no. That's how my arms felt. Like, this is me telling you.
Your experience point.
That this is how they felt. So anyways,
but you should show it first to me, and then.
Yes. Do you I
want to see it now.
Yeah. So close your eyes. Okay.
What? Nicolas.
So I'm gonna.
No.
No. I shouldn't?
Yeah, no,
so
you should.
I took a bad photo, so I apologize for that.
No, this is incredible.
But that's
oh my God.
That's a painting?
What am I going to do, Nicolas? No.
So the part that it has the like the head sort of buried into the pillow, it's just, that's what I thought of when I said, okay, it's my joints. Like if my head felt like 1,000 pounds, how can I say that my head felt like 1,000 pounds? So it had to be like super, super buried inside, and just that was my favorite part. Like,
Nicolas, this is absolutely amazing.
And then it was just joints getting like super, not super thin, because I thought of it visually and I was like, this can't work. This is never gonna work if it feels like this tiny little fiber thin. But I made it, I started kind of stylizing the arm, starting from the elbow and then to the wrist. And then it was, how do I communicate like this feeling of just trapped inside this emotion?
Yeah, because the head makes it feel super trapped.
Yeah.
Like I feel that, I don't know the size of the head, but I know that head can't get the chest up. Like if you try to write.
Oh no!
Like if you try to go first with the head.
Oh yeah.
Like
it would be like a weapon.
A block.
Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It can't get up from there.
No.
And I love that the hand is grabbing.
Yeah, because it's just this
like,
feeling of.
Yeah.
Of I don't know.
It feels like trapped. Like you're in pain.
Yeah.
And you can't move. Like you're there forever.
And I thought of like
Nicolas.
That would be, I guess that's a representation of my nightstand, my night table.
It looks super your mom's house.
Yeah. So
1,000%.
So you've seen those nightstands.
No, like I see all the painting and I feel that I'm in your.
Oh, that's awesome.
House.
That's awesome. Because I don't remember anything specific about. I mean, aside from like knowing how it was, but I didn't want to try to say, okay, no, that's not how the drawer was, or that's not. But I was like, no. I remember that these are the sort of lamps that we used to have.
Like how do you remember?
Like a very rustic, kind of woodeny feel. There's a woodeny feel to my house.
I was going to say that, like super bulky wood. Like
yeah,
super
like heavy ass wood.
Yeah.
And of course it's like this, made up kind of little showering of light.
Nicolas and the sheets?
Yeah, the sheet. I was like, should I do a pattern? Because I think pattern is going to be like a really cool rhythm to speak about that frenzy, that I was feeling, and how when you grab the sheets, it just turns to chaos. Yeah. Like it's just this little bit of chaos. No, so I was like, I'm going to do a pattern. Like I usually don't draw a pattern, but I'm always fascinated by pattern. But I just don't do it. I don't do it like enough, I would say. So
you know what I love?
Can we show?
I mean, it's a tiny detail, but like the sunk in nipple.
Oh, I love that one. Yeah, I love that too. I really like that. Amazing. So yeah, remember this is like super yellow light,
have a yellow
which
light,
is very moody, I would say. It actually lends itself. Look at that lamp. It looks like it's turned on in the painting.
This is
I don't know. I don't know if the what am I doing?
Image.
Yeah, I don't know how good the image is, the photo is. I promise I'll take a better picture. It's just that we were kind of running late today, and I had to take a super quick picture. I didn't even set my tripod up. I was like, okay, available light, and I just did a handheld shot. So it's very noisy, but I promise that I'll take a better pic for you guys. But Javi Hav says, what are the dimensions? Same
42
size.
centimeters by 30 centimeters. Yeah.
Same size that we paint on our daily paintings. So, yeah. So it's very, I don't know. I think it was very liberating trying to do this painting. I certainly met sort of the limits of stuff that I know, or that I know I can paint something, like I know I can say stuff with paint, but when I have to try to represent things, I always fall back on like the ways in which I would exaggerate things, or the stylized version of things. So that was very eye-opening for me also, like realizing, okay, this is hard for me, this is cool for me, and while I was painting it and it took shape, I was like, okay, this is like a super cool road. And
it's also, I would say that knowing you and knowing what you want to be as a painter, or like yearn in your own painting, I would say that this is a route that you would, like, you've always wanted to take, but you're scared of taking it.
Very scared,
like you're the type of person that says, oh, I would love to be able to paint from imagination.
Yeah.
Because, for example, if I think about it, I think it's super cool to be able to paint from imagination, but I don't think it's like something that I would die for. Because I think you see Kim Jung-gi, and I would say I love, for example, the line work in Kim Jung-gi. But you always talk about the imagination part of what he does. So I think working from the imagination is something that weighs a lot in you.
Definitely because I mean, and I don't have enough practice or enough, like my visual vocabulary is very small. It's very, very small.
But there's only one way to make it bigger.
Oh yeah, right. Well, yeah.
I mean, it sounds easier than it is.
No, I mean, it sounds
easier. Yeah.
But yeah, it would take me, aside from everything we do every day, like saying, I want to practice this, and I want to practice this, and I want to practice this.
What I want to say is that I think that if you really feel that this is something you want to explore, you have Mondays as a pretext to explore it. And I think, I'm not trying to say, apart from what we do, which is a lot of work, just work more. And enlarge your visual dictionary. No, that's not what I'm trying to say. But I'm trying to say, like, if you have Monday as an excuse, do it. Because if it's something you really love.
It's
No, Nicolas, it's amazing. No, I want to have it forever, but I don't know if
but
I can have it.
Yeah, I just it's horrifying because it's one of those things where you open a door and it's like, oh my God, that is such a cool path, but I
long
know
path.
nothing about this path. Like,
Yeah.
it's almost like you have to start from zero again. And starting from zero is horrifying. It's literally horrifying.
Yeah.
But I think that, you know, I've encountered a lot of times while I'm painting, like blockages maybe, you know, where maybe I'm not that interested in doing something that I've done like 100 times, and it doesn't mean that I do it really well so I graduated from it. No. It's just that I've done it enough to say, okay, this is as much as I can get from this. Maybe somebody else could be like, what do you mean? Like, that's going to be my whole life. And I'm super respectful of that. I'm like, yeah, that's your life. But that can't be imposed to me as my life. So I always pay attention to myself. And I always notice when I'm like, okay, I want to do something a little bit different, or I want to treat this a little bit differently. And I've always wanted to try to balance, the imagination that spurred everything that I am today with the sort of disciplined, I guess, quotation marks, but the disciplined painter that I am today. I would love to find a balance between those two, because I don't think one would exist without the other. That is like true. So, yeah. So I think that what you're saying is, it's almost like exactly what I'm gonna, not how I'm gonna approach everything. So hope, I also need to feel like Mondays are
don't try to
freedom.
force it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That there's freedom in Mondays. So if it makes sense for me to do something from imagination, like, I will do it gladly, because this was a very cool experience.
No, and the result is absolutely amazing.
But I'm not going to call my Mondays like Imagination Mondays from now on, because that's not the point of this. But the point, I think, that I kind of encountered, and that I realized that it is part of me, is that, oh, this is gorgeous. Like the trade-off that you get when you say, I could do anything, but there's still limitations to my idea of anything. Like, exploring those boundaries that your idea of anything has is fantastic. It's actually super, super interesting, because you realize, okay, there's only so far, like, my imagination, other people's imagination can span like the extent of the world. My imagination right now, it's like a puddle, but I'm curious to see how much I can, like, make it bigger and bigger. And even if it's not, like, right now, I think I'm limited in believing that what I have to do is just look at stuff. Mm-hmm. Like, oh, I want to paint myself as a wolf. Let me look at wolves for like a week. Maybe that's not the only road.
No, but
like,
try first to think about.
Maybe it's like, well, how does a wolf feel like?
Yeah,
what does that,
kind
of feel like? What would you push when you would try to say wolfness? And maybe that's more interesting to me. So I don't know. I think that's a super cool alternative. So yeah. So that's it for me.
That's it for the visual correspondences.
That's it
in general.
No, that's
no,
it
I'm
for
joking,
me.
but
it's very fun. It's liberating. It was very liberating.
I have to say, this is from the paintings you've done.
Yeah.
I don't know why this feels like so. Like, this is one of the favorite things of yours that I've seen.
Oh, thank you.
Like, it really feels perfect for me. I don't know how to say it, but I feel so much when I see it. Like, I can't stop looking at the hand that's grabbing the
sheet?
blanket, the sheet. Yeah. I don't know why it speaks too much to me, because I think it talks about how this person's feeling, like the struggle he's having. So.
Oh yeah, it was horrifying. No. Like I can't. I mean, again, horrifying, but weirdly satisfying.
Amazing.
Yeah, I mean,
amazing.
If you're going through something that feels otherworldly.
Yeah. I was going to say
it's painful, but you want to go through it. Like, you want to go through it.
When I told you that I was going to talk about something kind of similar that happened to me.
Yes, please.
It's something that still happens, and I've told you about it because it happens when I'm sleeping.
Uh-huh.
like I feel that I don't know why, but I feel like I'm in a white room.
Okay.
It's all white. And it's like the things in the room, it's like they were like inflatable. And they're just like expanding, and it occupies a lot of space. But it's weird because when I say the things in a room, the room can be empty. I know this feels super weird, but it's like the air was expanding and it's like touching me, but like shrinking the space I can be in.
Yeah.
And I hate it because I feel so
like super claustrophobic.
Yeah. And I'm not claustrophobic. That's the thing. I mean, I can be in the closet, like
as you
just standing there.
You know, that's
like
where you sleep.
I'm super fine with small spaces.
Yeah.
But the thing that I feel when I have that, like that kind of dream, I think it's terrible, and it's something that I've had as a dream since I remember, since I can remember. And the other thing is that it's super weird because it's always white. Like everything's white. And sometimes I'm like in a room that has like, let's say here, it has toys, but everything's white. And everything's like filling with air, but taking away the air from me. So it's like,
wow.
Oof. No, but yeah, I just remember that because when you say that you feel super vividly how it felt, I know how it feels. And it's like terrible because I remember that I'm always there looking around and like panicking because I know that everything's like trapping me. And I like start to breathe and breathe and breathe, and I close my eyes in the dream because I'm trying not to be there, and it expands and expands, and I feel it so much, and then I wake up.
Wow.
But it can be like I can be there trapped for 4 minutes.
Wow.
It feels like super long. Yeah, but I wanted to talk about that because I think that, as you said, it's something that it's not like people that can be like, oh, this is not how it feels if you're like in a room with an inflatable whatever. I would be like, yeah, that's fine, but that's how I feel it.
Yeah.
And it's something super weird because it feels super real.
Oh yeah.
And it's not like yours that you were like, I'm gonna be here for a little while and then I'm gonna see, because you had like that urge to feel it a little longer.
Oh yeah.
No, I always want to get out of that.
Yeah.
Like I think I even start hyperventilating.
Oh.
But I don't know if it's like, if I'm doing that, like if you are watching me sleep, you know that I'm hyperventilating, or is it the me in the dream that's hyperventilating?
I think so. I would have heard you by now.
But it's terrible.
You know, I wake up with anything, so.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But I wanted to say
that's awesome.
Story,
that's literally, that was the origin for trying to do this. And I think dreams or memories in that sense are very much alike, I feel.
Yeah.
Because I mean, sure, one is far more grounded in what are, you know, earthly possibilities, which are memories. But I think that what they share is something that feels like bigger than us.
Yeah.
That feeling always feels enormous. So I wanted to try and see if I could tap into that, and it was super interesting. It was really
and it's super cool how I talked about like a feeling that I was having at that moment.
Yeah.
And you were trying like a specific feeling that I think that everyone can relate to, like feeling frustrated.
Yeah.
But you were talking about a feeling that you try to describe to people because you know that no one has felt that.
Well, I don't know if I've talked, I think I talked with my father when I was little about this. Because I really thought that there was something wrong with me. That something was really happening to my bones and my muscles and my tendons. And I think that my father was like, it's just a dream. Don't worry, you're fine. So,
like,
you know.
The answer that you're not waiting.
Yeah.
Like, okay,
I don't know what I was expecting.
Thank you for it,
but it's one of those things that it's like, oh, don't pay attention to that. Or, oh, like, that's nonsense. So when somebody tells you that something's nonsense, you just don't feel like sharing it anymore or like saying anything about it.
You're feeling it so vividly that it's like, I mean, I'm not trying to, like, the answer I'm trying to get is not that it's nonsense, because I know it's nonsense, but it feels so real that like I want someone to like feel like let me know that they have felt something similar. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, it's super cool that you went for like a feeling, but it's a feeling that only you have experienced.
So it was I think it was a perfect starting point to push me in the direction where I could say, okay, you know, there's tons of voids that I have when I try to do things from imagination, but there's also this clarity when you say I can hold on to a feeling because I know it to be real, like I know it to be true. So it's very tough to train your brain to say you can hold on to that, as opposed to saying there's a bottle in front of me, like I'm going to hold on to that, to the way I perceive that bottle. And because that one is just in front of you and you see it and you can touch it. If you stick your arm out, you can touch it and you can grab it. And you know that there's light falling on, onto it, and it's describing its three-dimensionality. So there's so many things that you can, it's such a safety net, such a huge safety net nature that it's very, it's really, really scary when you say, what if I let go of that and I try to replace that safety net with something else? And it's very strange. It's a very, very strange feeling altogether. So because you kind of say, okay, what are the rules now to construct my painting? Can I do anything? And it's like, yes, but it's not as if anything goes. It's not like, you just do anything. No, because you want to communicate
and
something.
not anything works.
Exactly.
That's the thing. I mean, of course you can do anything,
but it doesn't mean
it's going to be a solid thing.
Exactly.
You're producing. So.
Exactly. But anyways.
I wanted to say another thing, because I was thinking about it when you were describing it.
Yep.
And I think it's super cool. Like, I love to see the connections.
Yeah.
With sometimes like what I do and what you answer to, and not only the connections that are the starting point to what you did, but other connections that I think that appear. And I think that when I did the painting last week, I wrote in my Instagram "unbearable weight."
Oh.
And that was like the title I gave to the painting.
No, and I read that. Maybe that
and I'm
sort
like
of helped me at an unconscious level.
And if I say unbearable weight and I see this painting, like I get
perfectly.
And I can like feel what you were describing, like the really unbearable weight of trying to, like, the hand has an unbearable weight for that arm. So
awesome.
So it was a connection that I wanted to tell you, because I think that's amazing. Like, I was thinking about it all the time. I was like, this is really an answer to what I did in so many levels. Like,
awesome.
Everything's like intertwined, and I think
that's super cool. Super, super cool. I expect nothing less.
I know, and now I'm scared.
No,
I'm super scared.
It's always scary. I think that what people don't realize is how much pressure this is. Like, it's super liberating, but it's also like, I want to have like a meaningful conversation. So we could show up and talk about, we can show up and talk about anything.
Yeah.
But you always have this idea, like, I want to show up and talk.
Yeah.
And not for, yes, for everyone, but because of us.
Yeah, but I was going to say that the thing that also gives it like a level up for us is like me talking to you and you talking to me.
Yeah.
Because we talk a lot. We've been in a relationship for many years. And like, I really want to talk to you about important things. And it's not like, as I said, I can do now
whatever.
Yeah, a pencil.
Yeah.
And that would be amazing. And we could talk about that. But I think it's cool to have the space here to talk about lots of things, to get to know you better. Yeah. And I think that I know you so good. And you know me so good.
Yeah.
But it's like tapping a little bit more into into. So
like a different layer, which is really nice.
And it's also cool because I know you as an artist and you know me as an artist. But when I answer to you as an artist and you answer to me as an artist is having a conversation we've never had before.
Yeah,
because we've spoken with words.
Yeah,
but we haven't spoken with what we do.
Yeah, it's super interesting.
Like to one another. So I think
it's super, super interesting. So
maybe you can read some comments.
Yes.
Do you want me to read or do you want to read?
I think I'm good.
Okay.
But
yeah, try to go up. Your it's now like
I think.
No, I think it was.
Let me see. Reminds me of Stephen Pressfield's War of Art.
That was when you were talking about working from the imagination.
Yeah.
It wasn't about.
But we can start here with what Cody was saying. So Cody was saying, reminds me of Stephen Pressfield's War of Art. I'm not familiar with that, Cody, so I'll look into it. Where he says the more you fear doing something, the greater indication that it's something you should do. I'm paraphrasing, but I like that sentiment. Yeah, for sure. I've always associated it with learning. So whenever you feel insecure or horrified by something, you know that that's something that you're learning to do. Like this was unknown to you, which is very very important. Storm Thorgerson. So maybe that's the artist, the wall artist, Gabriel. Maybe. Could you confirm? Liat says hello, Liat.
Yeah, we have said I believe Gerald Scarf.
Gerald Scarf. Yes. That sounds more familiar because I wasn't super familiar with him, and I remember I had to look him up for the video that we did, and I don't know what that video is.
No, I don't remember.
I don't remember it
If
either.
I'm being super honest, I have no idea. So,
do you think it's the one of Fer that she's sitting? You know when the painting that I did of Fer and it's a little bit of glass, like there's a window.
In the chair in the last apartment?
In the chair. No, this was actually in the building downstairs.
Yeah, in the last apartment. That's what I'm trying to say, yeah.
So I remember I did the hand from like imagination and then the legs and then the little feet.
Chair that had some ornaments and it was like pink, I think. The pink cushion?
No. Her shirt was pink.
Yeah, wasn't it the cushion?
There were little bits of color. I put like little bits of color for the glass.
I don't know why I'm remembering like a pink.
No, I think it was yellow.
Cushion.
No, it was yellow. I'm almost.
Was it?
Yeah, we can check in a second, but
it's also cool how again memory is distorting everything.
But yeah, so I think maybe it's in that video that we spoke about them. Maybe. I'm not super. Maybe there's people that know our paintings better than us.
Yeah, but I think that happens a lot with the videos. Like, I remember all that happened in the videos, but it's all like in a soup.
Oh,
so I can't like take it apart.
Yeah,
I can't
for me it's
say
one
like
video.
Yeah.
For me it's one long.
Yeah.
One very
2
long
year video.
Yeah. Jose Fails said, does anyone else hear their own voice on audio recording and think that's not how I thought I sounded? All of us. Yeah. It took me like
I sound super annoying.
A year to say, oh my God, that's my voice.
Sometimes when I re-listen to the videos, I'm like, this can't be my voice.
I can't hear myself.
Because I feel that how I hear me is more like
it's always.
How do I say ronca?
Raspy voice.
Like raspy.
Yeah.
And then I listen and I'm talking like this.
A little mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's
a raspy mouse could be.
That's me.
Midpoint. Yep.
So now, talking about the painting.
Robin was very generous. She said phenomenal. Julián, me da cosita ver esos bracitos, por favor, es genial. Muchas gracias, Julián. Sí, a mí me dio impresión también
sentirlo.
Pues sí, sentirlo, pero también tratar de decidir cómo representarlo sin que fuera, como decía al principio, sin que fuera como una especie de exageración como
pero está
obvia.
Espectacular.
Entonces estaba tratando de buscar más cómo me sentía
y cómo hablar
que existieran esos brazos ahí, pero que fuera como un sentimiento mucho más grande, no solo que uno dijera, uy, miren el cuello, cómo se vuelve como súper delgado, o los bracitos, y eso es lo que está causando como esa sensación de desasosiego ahí en esa cama, sino sino, no sé, quería que fuera como todo el mood, o sea, la luz en la lámpara, la cabeza como totalmente casi que tragada por la almohada.
Sí. Esa cabeza nunca la van a poder levantar de ahí.
No, y no existe, y no importa.
No.
Y no importa. Está como el efecto del peso, pero no está la cabeza, entonces era más importante hablar del efecto sobre la almohada que del describir la cabeza. Eso se me hizo como chévere. Camila dice, fantástico, muchas gracias, Camila. Sheka says, what? So incredible, Nicolás. Thank you, Sheka. Cody says, holy crap, this painting is amazing. Thank you.
Absolutely amazing.
Jay says, that's awesome, reminds me of your older work. To me, it reminds me of my older self, which is very weird. I guess of some of my older work because I used to be, I think I did some bed paintings. I used to like doing bed paintings, and I've always loved having like a source, like a sort of like a single source of light. In that sense, like informal elements, that may appear in a painting, yeah, for sure. But I think most importantly, for me, it's more like just this this feeling that I'm gonna try to paint this body, and I'm gonna try to paint this this bed or this sheet. That doesn't make sense. Like I didn't have a striped sheet like that, or like, that's very thin.
And we don't have it here.
And it doesn't matter. Like none of that matters. Like this kind of looks like me, but it doesn't feel like me, but it doesn't matter. It like none of those things matter. It's almost like what Danny was saying. Like that's the nightstand that I grew up with, and the fact that Danny says that feels like your house.
Mom's house. Yeah, 1000%.
That is perfect. That's perfect. That's all we need. Like
even like the yellow light.
Yeah, because could you imagine like me telling you, "Oh no, I painted it exactly," and maybe if you hadn't seen it or you don't know it, you would be like, "Okay, but who cares?"
Yeah.
Like who cares? Like that doesn't do anything for
That's
me
why
or for anyone else that doesn't know what my mother's house
it
feels like.
Yeah, because that's what I wanted to say. It's more like how it feels like.
Yeah.
And I think that's amazing of what you did, because it's like you're not painting the nightstand that is in your mom's house. You're not painting the exact lamp, bed, whatever, but you're talking about how that feels like. Everything in the painting talks about how that feel.
Yeah.
Like the feeling you had, but also the feeling of the space you were inhabiting.
Yeah.
So super, super cool.
Yeah, that to me is probably most important, because otherwise it's just information that seems like is faithful, but it doesn't do anything aside from saying like, okay, I guess that's a lamp, and I guess that's a nightstand, but that's it. And in here it was just a little bit more than that. Mm-hmm. So and my nightstand used to be absurdly cluttered with things, and I just had to say it is mine because it
doesn't even close.
Probably is like it probably was the most cluttered of all of our nightstands. We used to have all the same, well, not the same, but it was always like a wooden, super heavy nightstand right next to our bed, and mine was just full of crap.
No,
so it also lends itself to like that feeling of heaviness. Now that I'm thinking about it, like everything is just full and heavy set. So, Nicolaus said, beautiful. Thank you, my fellow Tocayo. Abracadabra says, wow, qué maravilla. Muchas gracias, Abracadabra. Marcelo says, oh, yes, responding to Jose Fails. I hate my voice on recordings. I once was interviewed, and to this day, I have not watched it. I have it saved on my phone, but never got past the first 10 seconds. There was... somebody once asked me, did an interview with me, asking to me about la crítica, art criticism in Colombia, which I was completely like ignorant about. Like I know broad strokes about criticism here in Colombia regarding the art world, and I answered, this was like 15 years ago.
No, I thought it was another interview. So
it was an interview.
No. Look at me and try to remember the other interview that you didn't want me to see.
Spain, the Spain one, the one from Menorca. Yeah. Oh yeah, because of my accent.
No, the one, because it was in Menorca, but it wasn't from the workshop. Es que you had two.
The
one from the organizers and the other one.
The one of the newspaper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the one that you hated.
Oh, that was embarrassing.
So much.
That was super embarrassing. No, not really. But that one embarrasses me less. That one, I'm just an idiot.
Well, because you were the sponge talking.
Yeah.
So you were
what Danny means is that when I travel,
he says he's like a sponge.
Yeah,
so
I'm a sponge. I'm a sponge.
The accent.
I pick up accents. So yeah, I'm a sponge. So I came in with my Colombian Spanish, and I left with my Menorquí.
When we landed, you had an accent.
As soon as we crossed the international airspace, I was like, I changed everything. Yeah. In the ones that they did of me, I was so messed up because it was like a week of me thinking in Spanish but speaking in English because I had to speak in English, but then also speaking in my Spain Spanish. At the end, my brain was like scrambled eggs. So when they did an interview, I think I made up a word because I think I said it in English, but I did a Spanglish thing that was horrible.
But I was there. Remember, I was in the.
Oh, you were right. We were on the side.
In the camera. Like I was looking through the camera.
Oh yeah, it was terrible.
Your interview.
No, I'm kind of embarrassed about that. But whatever. They're all life experiences. Anyways, this is Edward says this is so cool. I love the moments of the red outline. I like that. I like those too. Those are just like, hey, we're going to speak about warmth in the painting just so that we can exaggerate the temperature shifts. Jeremy Miranda does like incredibly well, which is just contrast by temperature. He's amazing at it. There's tons of ways to do that, but I like it too. And, one of the ways you can push temperature is when you're painting something that's warm, it's letting that warmth invade all your shadows also. So, how do you say that? How do you say that warmness is going to seep into your shadows? Sometimes it's just like upping the chroma in those shadows. So, yeah, those reds certainly help with that. And they also help as drawing kind of marks. So Rosalind says, I'm in love with this painting. So good. Thank you, Rosalina.
I'm also in love with the painting.
Thank you.
Like so
Danielita.
in love. So in love.
Jose Fail says, you really feel cloaked in light. The light cast from the lamp is almost as present as the weight of the head in the pillow. That's very cool. That's really, really cool. Because many times we don't think of light as like a physical thing, and it is very much so a physical thing. I think it's best understood when you can imagine it just traveling through space as if it was just this thing that's going to hit you in the face if it goes past you, or as it goes past you. I think if you just think of light as this very kind of thinly veiled thing, like light is never going to have like the weight it deserves to have. But so that's super cool, Jose Fails. Javi have awesome piece. What are the dimensions? Oh, we spoke about that. That's it's the
42 by 30 centimeters.
So A4. I'm not.
No idea. 42 by 30
moleskin
centimeters.
Size. Large moleskin size.
42 by 30 centimeters.
I love the diagonals and the inside of the left arm. Inside of the left. My left.
The one that's kind of floating,
So this one, I guess?
Yeah.
Yeah. That one I had to... Like, I wish I could have solved that with a different pose. But
no, because I think it's
works.
Perfect.
Yeah,
no.
It works for what I wanted to do.
No, I love it like that.
It's all that strain.
Because I think that the one that's laying on top talks about, like, fragile.
Yeah.
Fragile, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But the one that's grabbing the sheet talks about, like, the struggle of having the weight.
Perfect.
So I think the pose is absolutely perfect for what you were trying to say.
Oh, perfect. That's perfect. Perfect description, Danielita. And now that I say Danielita, Liat says this is great. Thank you, Liat. Very kind. You. Alejandro says, hello,
I don't know
friends.
Why I said thank you, Liat.
You can say it.
Thank you.
Yeah. We are but one. Hello, friends. Hi, Danielira and Nicolasiro.
Danielira, Nicolasiro.
That's perfect.
Alejandro, that was perfect.
Alejandrito. Alejandrito was my brother, by the way.
Alejandrito?
Yeah, that's how my mother used to call him, but also my aunt used to call him Alejandrito. Because my father was Alejandro.
Oh, I thought Alejandrito.
I mean, it's Alejandrito.
Not Alejandrito.
Alejandrito. Abracadabra, sin palabras. Abracadabra, sin palabras.
Espectacular.
Gracias. Catherine, wow, amazing, recognizable feeling and atmosphere. Awesome. I feel the way it's cropped, the viewer is intruding. That's super cool.
Yeah.
I feel that intimist paintings, intimist art should in many ways feel like that.
Mm-hmm.
And this one's easy. I guess like not every, but, bedroom painting, a bed painting is supposed to feel like you're intruding. Like, this is not my space. But I think that if you go even broader, like every time you sort of cross that threshold of realizing that you're suddenly as a viewer inhabiting a space that doesn't belong to you, you should have that feeling. That's a really, really cool feeling, I think. Marcelo says, amazing painting. Nicolas. I love how cartoony. Nicolas, I don't know. I love how cartoony it is. And I mean cartoony in the best way. Oh, don't like Marcelo, you know me, cartoony. I went to study cartooning. Yeah. Like, I will never ever feel weird about somebody saying to me that feels cartoony or that looks like a caricature. A lot of times people fear that that's like a loaded, comment. I'm always like showered by compliments when people say that's a caricature. I'm like, great, thanks. Or that's super cartoony. Awesome.
Yeah.
Why would I ever feel weird about that? You only feel weird about that when you are just attempting to, or when you've been swallowed so much by like academy and where you think that nature is the only answer, that you're just blind to everything else that goes around like in the world that are amazing, manners of expression. So no, trust me. If you guys tell me that looks like a comic book, or that's very illustration-y, or that's very cartoony, or that's very caricature, that is my life. That's always been the things that I love. Like, look at all the stuff that's around me. I'm never ever gonna feel weird about those things. Those things make up who I am. So that's perfect for me. Mikhail. I'm actually sad. Thank you for the use of oof, which is awesome.
I'm actually
sad I don't have the money to buy this. Oh, don't worry. Like, this is like part of our painted lives is that we rely on people. We're not financed by anyone. We don't have sponsorships. We try to do other stuff like workshops also help finance what we do. But I'm going to be honest here. Workshops help me finance my, terrible
it's not terrible
hobby.
No,
but I always dedicate like a percentage of a workshop to buying figures.
That's perfect, and that's why you're taking care of yourself.
I don't feel bad about it. No. I'm always like, okay, I did well with this workshop. I'm going to take this part and I'm going to buy some figures.
I think you should do it always.
But yeah, don't worry. Like, there's super generous people that we feel are like patrons of our painted lives. And I think that something that people don't quite realize is that, there's a lot of people there, but it's not as big a group as you think it is. Like, there are people out there that have helped us in
a lot,
like generous ways that you can't imagine. They've bought over 10 paintings, for example. And I think those people, they are incredible. Like, their heart is incredible, but what they do, which is amazing, is that they are subsidizing what we do so that, people that say, hey, I just don't have money. Like, when I was younger, I didn't have money. Yeah. Like, when I was a student, I had to work. I didn't have money for anything that was extra. So, I remember just having that feeling throughout like most of my life. Like, even like these figures that I was just mentioning, it was only, when I met Danny that I started to feel more comfortable with the things that I always wanted to do. but I just never gave myself the chance to buy those things. And I could always say, no, it's because I have kids, and you have to be far more responsible when you have kids, which is true.
But that sense, you would always find an excuse.
Yeah, but I used to like save money just because, like, I would always tell myself, don't buy that. Like, don't be so stupid. Don't be so immature.
And I mean,
like, that time has gone.
Yeah, and you're still. What? No, you're still saving money, but you're also like buying things you love, which I think you should always do.
But it's very recent. So what I'm getting at is, like, I didn't have this chance to buy the things that and it's not about things. It's about, like, working for something that tells you, hey, this is what makes you happy in life, and this is what gives you energy to, like, keep doing the things that make you happy.
Yeah.
Which is really, really cool. But part of this whole equation, and that's what I was trying to say, and I'll get back to what I started speaking about, is that people that help Our Painted Lives, the project, by purchasing these paintings, they're helping us, like, do this.
Yeah, because they are the reason why we can do this as a work.
But they also, and hopefully they're very conscious of this, because this is very huge for us too. They're letting also the people that maybe were looking for something that, they wanted to have a space to speak about painting, but every space that they saw was like, there's
like
a lot of
gatekeeping.
Or like, there's paywalls everywhere, and you have to pay just to get a comment in. And or maybe they wanted an education, and while we're not really educating people, because that's not what we're doing, trust me, there's still, we hope that there's, we're hoping that we are constructing an atmosphere where, little things that we speak about can be what ignites somebody to do something. It's like, I love, like, the same way when Danny and I do this thing on Mondays, and we just, maybe it's like a little phrase that we say, and then the other person's brain just kind of lights up. Hopefully in the conversations that we have, not only today, but maybe in the more meaningless conversations that we can have during the rest of the week, people are like, I got this idea to do this thing. Or, I always wanted the courage to do this, but, nobody made me feel comfortable when I wanted to do this. But maybe hearing you guys say that you also felt uncomfortable, but maybe you worked through it. It's like, it's time for me to kind of, like, share some of that strength and do that also.
Yeah, and I was going to say that it doesn't have to be, like, something that we said that resonate with them, but also, like, it can be having the opportunity to have this place where that you're going to be daily with other artists that are
like
working along. Yeah. Because when we work, there's a lot of people that are like, I use this as an excuse to paint every day, or to draw, or to whatever. So you can feel like you are in an environment that has art as something they love. So you can feel like that's your safe space. And we really, really appreciate the people that support us by buying paintings, because they really make this possible for everyone. Not only for us, but for everyone.
That's like I said, maybe they don't quite know it, but that is what they're doing. So,
because if it wasn't for them, we couldn't keep going. Like,
no.
We would be super sad, but we would have to stop our painted lives, because that's our income.
Get another job, and that'd be fine. Like, I had a badly remunerated. Is that a word? I think it is. I was badly paid for many years as a art school college teacher, but it was a job, and we would both. And you were, a bartender, and you used to wait tables. We're not above any of that.
No.
We can go back to doing jobs.
Yeah, the thing we're saying is that, again, maybe you don't realize that when you buy a painting from us, it really means that we can keep going. So we are really, really super, super thankful to everyone that has supported us.
Yes.
So,
Chalkboard guy said, did you find it more draining doing it just from memory? Different, but it wasn't like memory also, because like memory played like a huge part of it. Like I certainly was thinking, I have to do a bed sheet. Like, what do I do? My Transformer bed sheets when I was kid, or do I do my NFL, sheets that had all the logos, 1984 logos, and I think I had those bed sheets. Not the cover. The cover was a Transformer cover, but the bed sheets were like the NFL. Oh, we had like
The super weight blanket?
No. It was just like like a bunch of animals. It felt like Africa, but not really. I mean, yeah, it had like elephant and the lion, but also then they start mixing up animals. So, but in your mind, you're like, oh my God, like this is amazing. This is just like a jungle. But it was like any animal. They mixed like jungle with rainforest.
Yeah,
it doesn't
chicken
matter.
and elephant.
Yeah, there was probably a dog in there.
Yeah, and a fish.
Yeah, in a fish bowl.
Yeah.
But we used to have that one. That was like super retro one. That's for sure like a 70s blanket. But then we had the NFL one, and then it was like we had those for years. In my house, we used like those things for years.
Yeah.
We would only change them if they were like disintegrating. So yes, in the sense, chalkboard guy, like I was thinking like, should I acknowledge these things? Like, but then you start thinking, is that's what's relevant about me trying to say what I want to say? Like, do I just want to speak about how exactly my room was? How
well you remember.
Yeah. So that who else is going to be able to say that? So that when my brother sees it, goes like, oh my God, that was your room. Or my sisters or my mother. But then the audience for those details is very, very small. It's super, super small. Or do you try to go for something that is like bigger, like feels, yes, it starts from a memory, but then you kind of start reshaping it into something else.
Yeah,
and
that's
I think
why
that's
I said
what
like the feeling of it all.
Right,
you
right.
went for the feeling.
Yeah.
So
in that way, yes, it's, but I mean, it is draining, but painting is always draining. Like I think that if you're painting and you don't feel exhausted after you paint, you're not doing it right. Like if you just turn off your brain and you're just autopiloting a painting, it's not a good painting. Or maybe it's a great painting, but it's a painting then that you've painted a million times and you just know how to do it. But painting, a challenging painting is always going to be a challenging painting, no matter where it comes from. Character without figure, that's pretty cool too. Although there's a figure there, but maybe you mean like, like identity through,
like without a facial,
like having identity through chest or through hands or through, inhabiting space. That's kind of cool. Alejandro says this painting is great. I can feel the material of everything and I'm watching it on the phone. That's cool. Maybe you're watching like this tiny little stimulus on the phone and you're just reconfiguring in your brain. So that's kind of cool. Cosette, me encantan las luces, aunque es algo enfermo, alguien enfermo creo. Estaba hablando Cosette de que era como me sentía cuando, o sea, el origen es un sentimiento cuando yo era pequeño, que sentía que las articulaciones, cuando me acostaba a dormir, las articulaciones como que se pesaban muchísimo y antes de la articulación lo que eran los músculos, los huesos, los tendones se volvían finitos como un filamento. Entonces sí hay algo como enfermizo de eso, ¿no? Porque pareciera ser una calidad del cuerpo que no es natural. Entonces sí, chévere también que se sienta eso. Jose fails, the cord on the lamp is oof. Oh, thank you. You know that I put that last because I was like, I didn't want to put a cord. I didn't because I thought it was like very drawn. And it was just like
amazing.
A ton of attention.
And like the curve it does at the end, it's amazing.
But then I realized, no, I have to paint it, but I just have to sort of inscribe it into the atmosphere, which means many times instead of describing it, like overly describing it, what you have to do is sacrifice some of that description, but make it fit into the atmosphere.
Yeah, and you did that with the light. Like it feels part of the light, and it changes in the shadow amazingly.
Yeah. So, but it's very like the value change.
Oh, it's super
minuscule.
Yeah.
And I don't know why sometimes we feel that it has to be very drawn, and it doesn't. It once you paint light and because you're painting from imagination, you're more like painting like a concept of light. You start exaggerating things about that concept of light rather than just thinking of saying, maybe if I was painting a lamp that was right there, it would probably look very differently. It could be lit up, and it could be in a very cool room, like warm source of light in a very cool room. It would probably look very different, but it doesn't matter because that's not what we're painting.
Yeah.
Again, we're painting how I remember
how light
this.
feels.
Yeah, and you've known this too in my house. Like my house used to be, this kind of rustic house.
It's like cavey.
Yeah.
And the light is always super warm.
Very warm light. So
Like-
it feels like very old. It just feels very old. And imagine like nowadays there's like LED lights, but when I was growing up, it was just like incandescent light bulbs.
Yeah. And yellow.
Which were like, always
Super
yellow,
yellow, yeah.
always warm light, and very weak,
Yeah.
I think that if I went back to what my house was when I was little, I would have been like, oh my God, I need a torch.
Yeah.
To like, maybe this is my
Yeah,
Elden
yeah.
Ring feeling now, but I just need my way to know my way through this.
Yeah,
like,
but that's cool because in
cave.
the image you talked about the feeling of light. For example, in the pillow,
yeah,
the light that is
kind of
like
yeah, that one I was a little
that's-
scared of that one. Just
no,
but I
that's
was like
amazing. 'Cause
that it's just filtering, like that tiny
Yeah,
little
but
bit filtering.
that makes you, or that made me,
Yeah,
at least I'm gonna talk for myself. It made me feel that light was, it was like a super weak
yeah.
light, like a super tenue. How do I say tenue?
Oh no, weak is
A
fine.
kind of weak light, but it inundates all the
Yeah,
room,
yeah.
all the painting. So it's amazing.
Or like the air gets impregnated by
with that,
light.
yeah.
That I've always loved.
1,000%.
That I love about, like, I've always loved light.
And I
Always.
would even say that, I mean, now that you say air,
Yeah.
like that was maybe the word that I was trying to look for. Because I feel that maybe this sounds weird, but
Go.
it feels like the air in your house.
Oh, that's
'Cause
very nice.
The air in your house is like it's completely different
Yeah.
from, for example, the air in our apartment.
Yeah.
So I feel
Never
that
thought
it's
about
super,
that, but yeah, that's pretty cool.
it's super distinctive, and I know, and I think that maybe someone that's watching the video would be like, "What are you talking about?" But I think that when you go to your house,
Yeah.
and you go, like you come here or you go to different spaces, the air is different.
Yeah.
And as I said, it's super cavey, so
Yeah.
the air is like a little denser, I would
Maybe.
say,
That's awesome.
like
yeah.
thicker. So
Yeah. And if my father was still alive, you would smell the smoke.
yeah, but
Cigarette
it would be
smoke.
thicker because of the smoke.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. For sure. Robin
Cacado.
says,
Cacado.
Cacaro Rodriguez says, wow, amazing Coco. Thank you, Cacaro. Robin says, starting over implies a destination. That's awesome. Yeah, that's a very, very simple, beautiful way of describing like what it means to find a new path. Julia, estamos muy contentos con
Ya le encontramos lugar.
Claro, en el nicho de nuestra
La chimenea.
chimenea que nunca
Cupo
se prende.
perfecto.
Queda perfecto. Y atrás.
Y le da como un mood
Es
súper chévere.
Es que somos felices. Tenemos un Julia Marina Tovar original en nuestra colección. Entonces estamos muy felices. Entonces le encontramos un sitio a la escultura. Acabo de llegar y está increíble. Gracias, Julia. Ahora estoy pensando en cuál sería la historia y la conexión con la pintura de Dani. Muy bien, se me hace genial que si no sabía se la imagine. Fernanduchis Chuchis.
Dice,
Mi
hola,
Fernanduchis
Ferchunguilis.
dice hola, entonces te amo mucho, mi Ferchuchis.
Y es que hoy es festivo.
Hoy es
Yo
festivo.
decir, uy, llegó temprano.
Alejandro, it feels like there is a connection between grown-up Nicolas and the child that is playful and curious. Oh, that one's never left. Yeah.
But I don't think that should be a different versions of yourself.
No, I think
Like,
that's me.
in
That's
no
just
one.
me.
Yeah, and I think that everyone, like, I don't know why people tend to say, like, oh, the child version of me and the grown-up version.
Yeah.
It's like you had, like, a separation.
Yeah.
And I don't think that happens. At least
No.
in my life, it doesn't
Yeah. Well,
apply. And
just-
in your life,
no.
too. I
you
mean,
just start paying taxes. That's about it.
yeah,
Yeah. That's really it.
yeah. And you have
Um,
obligations.
Margo
Harder than
Delgado
school.
says, se dices, impresionante, es increíble el relato que que se ha ido creando lunes tras lunes, cada vez más complejo e interesante. Sí, esto es lo más bonito, o sea, al final quisiéramos o sea, lo que se está entretejiendo sea como algo que nos lleve a sitios que no necesariamente sean los sitios que ya conocíamos de nosotros. No es que nos vayamos a sentar y es como, tengo que contarte algo. Nunca,
sí, y tampoco
nunca te había dicho esto, pero
no.
y uno cuenta una historia así como súper extraña. No, yo creo que en cuanto a nuestras historias, Dan y yo ya nos
Por eso yo
conocemos
digo
muchísimo.
que nos conocemos mucho, pero esto es una manera de conocernos como a un nivel distinto.
Sí, exacto. Y en ese sentido, como que es chévere pasarnos como la pelota y decir, bueno, vamos a entendernos como tú dijiste, como en un plano distinto.
Sí,
no
como
es mejor
en
ni
un
peor.
lenguaje artístico
es
que
simplemente
tampoco,
otro, sí.
Sí, como ahorita yo estaba diciendo eso en inglés y es como que tenemos la opción de no solo como conocernos como artistas, porque ya nos conocemos como artistas, sino como dialogar como artistas, como dialogar desde el arte y conocernos desde ese diálogo. Entonces.
Exacto. Ferchuchis dice, hola, corazones rosados, Dab
y señora con una toalla de
señora
Wi-Fi.
con el brasier en la cabeza que hace Wi-Fi. Jose Fails, what's that Goya etching called? El sueño de la persona. Okay, I was going to answer. Se me perdió. Yeah, I don't know what I did.
There.
Okay.
Bernadette.
El sueño de la razón produce monstruos. Sí, es precioso ese grabado. Bernadette says...
No, but wait, because Jose said, I translated as sleep/dream, but also like imagination.
Yeah.
Imagination is el sueño de la razón.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
So they were talking about when you talked about working from imagination.
Oh, like, yeah.
Because it's like not the real thing that happened.
Yeah,
like I'm reading it like it's not the actual thing that happened, but the dream you have of what happened.
Yeah.
Like the dreamy version of what happened.
And what sort of governs that universe? Like the laws that could govern that universe.
Yeah. So now Bernadette.
Bernadette says, I did a self-portrait in oil pastel without any reference, and it looks about 25 years younger than I am. That's awesome. When I do from imagination, it looks like 25 years older all the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
I always go for like the heavier soul. When I'm like, if I let my reins a little loose, I don't know why I always just go for sadder, lonelier, and older, and it feels beautiful. That's why.
In 25 years, you're not gonna be alone, so don't say lonelier.
Oh, that's when I was painting other people. So no, I'm kidding. No. I just feel like I like to see the human being, and not just the human being connected with everything else, but it's almost like isolated. So maybe instead of alone, like an isolated human being.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of cool. But I was never able to paint my children like at the right age that I was. Always older. Always a little bit older.
No, or younger. I think that with Fer.
No, I always felt that with Fer, I was painting somebody who was older.
Sometimes older, but sometimes like I think that, and also when you paint Samu, like I think you paint a childer version of him than what he really is.
Maybe up until it was impossible.
Yeah, but because you still see them as little childs, like they're little, they're tiny for you.
I think,
but they're growing up, and you sometimes paint them sweeter than they are. No,
yeah.
And I'm not saying that they're
really
not,
nice, Danny.
I'm not saying
Children,
that they're not
Danny
sweet.
does not think you're sweet. No. I know exactly what you're saying. I know. No.
They know I love them. So
no. Don't worry.
No, but what I'm trying to say is that you take the sweetness in them.
Oh, for sure.
And put it like in 100.
That's
because that's how you see them.
I think that's 100%
that's the
right.
Perception you
have. Yeah, 100% right that there is like there's this almost like saccharine quality to when I paint them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what feels very almost like idealized. But I do feel that I'm always, when I look back to the paintings, they always feel a little older. They always just feel like they were these old human beings trapped in like these little bodies.
Okay.
I feel like that when I see them. But you're totally right that it's I think you pointed out once, and you were totally right about this, that it was harder for me to take risks with them.
Yeah.
Like with you, I'm super fine because we know each other so well that it's like...
it's like your kids. So
Yeah.
you protect them.
So,
like,
but with them,
you feel
I
bad
always feel...
when you were...
Yeah.
Because I remember that happened because you were making a painting of Fer.
Yeah.
And you were like, I can't get the face of Fer.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, but it looks super cool because it's like super bold.
Yeah.
Because you made all the features like super hard. I don't know how
I think I remember that painting.
Yeah, it was like super hard.
Yeah.
And you were like, no, that's not Fer. And I was like, no, but this is a painting.
Yeah.
So as a painting, it looks super cool. And you were like, no, but this is not Fer. And you changed it.
Yeah.
And you made it like a sweeter version and you were happier with
Yeah.
that. And that's when we had the conversation and I told you that it was super interesting how, of course, because you're their parent, their father.
Yeah.
You can't take that risks because it's like you're sacrificing the children part of them or like the son or daughter part of them. So
it's almost like being overprotective becomes also like this
you're even
obstacle.
protecting them when you're painting them.
Exactly. So that's a very, very real feeling.
Yeah.
You're totally right.
And Bernadette also said, I love your painting. First thing I thought of was Salvador Dali, but uniquely yours.
Yeah, that reference, that painting of Saint Anthony, it blew my mind.
Yeah.
And it's probably like the only... this is probably going to sound kind of hyperbolic here, but I'm not a big fan of his paintings, his work. But that painting had like this...
influence.
it wasn't even like influence. Because if I look back at my painting, it doesn't feel like
Did you
it's
say pues que?
No, I don't know what I said.
Yeah.
But it doesn't... No, when I look back at my painting, it doesn't feel like, when you look at my work, you go like, oh yeah, there's a...
No, but
Salvador Dali
influence in your life. Because it was like he was describing what you were feeling.
But that was bigger than painting. It was almost like this shock.
Your life. That's why
it was almost like this shock of like saying, what
this is exactly what I'm trying
to...
Yeah.
This dude knows how I feel. Like,
maybe he had the same
like
dream.
This deep, dark dream that I had. This guy painted, how that felt. That's not... I was like, that is not normal. That feeling.
Yeah.
But that, I think, transcends painting, which is very interesting.
Now that they're talking about other artists, it also... Of course, it's super different, like the execution of it, but it feels also super Giacometti.
Oh, yeah.
Where there's like super heavy torso and like extremidades,
you could say.
Extremities that made no sense to move the weight of that body. Yeah. So I think I had that on mind, and it's
there's so
beautiful.
Much. Maybe I never thought of that. Maybe there's like a super primal connection. That's why I probably, well, I mean, I can rationally say why I love Giacometti, but maybe there is something to that, to a lot of that.
Yeah.
To a lot of his sculptures that's why I connect with them.
With them so much.
Yeah. And it almost feels like instinctual. You know how there's like artists that you feel like you connect with them. Like you really...
I mean, it sounds cheesy, but you feel like they're talking about home. Like, they are talking about
100%.
you.
It's like
they touch you.
Yeah, for me, like I could tell you, probably John Singer Sargent. Sargent is one of the best painters ever, but I never feel him close. Yeah. I always feel like I'm just looking at a painter that is incredible. Always. I always feel like I'm on this side looking at a painter.
Like admiring from the outside.
Yeah,
but
and you're just like meant to. Like, at least in my life, it's like I'm meant to look at this painter from afar, and he's amazing, and I'm just me. But when I see Edwin Dickinson, for example,
like he was
Edwin Dickinson is like that. If I was a village, or if I used to live in a village, 1,000 years ago,
like
or in another dimension, he is part of my village. Like, there's no question in my mind that when I look at Edwin Dickinson, it's like that somehow has a part of me,
and it feels like something you've experienced before. Like,
it's crazy.
I know what he's talking about, even if you weren't there or you would never be to that like visit that village, it feels
crazy.
like how you would experience that village.
I think so. I think that's one of the craziest things in art. Yeah. And it usually happens in art, in things that touch us sensibly. It's just like you feel like, and that's why people sometimes feel like they really connect with something, or with an album, or with an artist, or with a piece of music. They feel like, okay, this, and it's not like hyperbolic. It's not an exaggeration, but it's like, this is really speaking to me.
To me, yeah.
I don't know. I have no idea how to explain that. There's probably, boring people could probably find like an explanation for all of that.
No, but
I think that it's just this connection,
And I think that's also cool because, again, I'm like trying to get the connections with last week, not only painting, but conversation.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how like you could feel something from a painting and you don't know like in what part of the painting
where it resides,
that sentiment that you're getting comes from. And I think that happens with artists. Like you could try to, as you said last week, you could try to replicate what someone did, and I'm sure it wouldn't feel as it feels.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like the connection you feel.
It's almost like it's invisible. It's not meant to be.
That's why I said it was like a parallel invisible painting you're painting there. That is also something you could access when you're looking at the painting or sculpture or whatever. But it's not something that you can like rationalize.
Yep.
So.
Callum says he's giving us a little window into some of his free time from his animation work. This painting describes to me the lucid state right before you fall asleep, just dropping out of the real world. Love the hand trying to hold on to the reality in the bedsheet. Yeah, it is. I think that it is, as fine of a reality as, the limbs are connected with the rest of the body. Cool. So it's very nice. Liat says, Nicolas, given your level of skill, okay, you're being generous there. If you wanted to be able to paint from imagination, I don't think it would be a had or a hard skill to develop. But there is a difference than how most people paint from imagination than how Kim Jung-gi draws from imagination. Oh yeah, that's, there is imagination and there's Kim Jung-gi educated imagination.
Yeah, but again, I would say it's not like, if you work from imagination, it's not because you want to be Kim Jung-gi, because you would never be, no, and I'm not trying to say you would never be Kim Jung-gi. No, I'm saying you would never be someone different from yourself.
Like, so my perfect example?
You talking from imagination. And sorry, I thought about, for example, some paintings of Pere Llovera.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely amazing. Yeah. And he works sometimes from imagination.
A mix, I would say, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't have to...
Yeah, you don't have to look like that.
And I have another...
I was going to say...
Ignacio Iturria.
Iturria is amazing.
Iturria. And he works from imagination. Yes. And it's like absolutely amazing, and it doesn't have to be the same language that Kim Jung-gi.
Or I was going to think like Andrew Cranston,
amazing again.
It's incredible, and those are works from imagination, and they
don't
have
nothing to do with Kim Jung-gi,
or with reality, or with nature, or with anything.
Yeah, and it's not like one is more and one is less,
or more sophisticated.
Lesser,
Exactly. So I'm interested in thinking that. How would this develop if I would keep going and going and going?
Try to get to know yourself as an imagination-based artist.
Oso Bucodonosor, hermoso, me encanta la paleta de luz, etcétera, etcétera. Gracias,
etcétera.
Santiago dice, llegué tarde, pero veo que la pintura está espectacular como de costumbre. Nicolás, muchas gracias, Santiago, muy amable.
Estás leyendo un poquito rápido.
Esteban, ¿qué hubo, Esteban? Un abrazo.
Hola, Esteban.
Esto está increíble, carita.
Sí, y Esteban debe estar en clase viendo.
Sí, Esteban, por favor. Siempre, ¿no? Siempre.
Clase de historia del arte.
Siempre saliéndose de clase para comentar, Esteban. Pero
con el audífono
un abrazo
ahí.
Grande. Bernadette, I see the striped sheet as a prisoner's stripes and being consumed by the pillow. Fantastic. I think they're very, pattern can be, because it is a rhythm and because it is a rhythm that repeats itself, at a frequency, at a very specific frequency, it does trap. Visually, when you have those moments, those instances that repeat themselves, it doesn't have to be literally just a piece of pattern on a dress or a jacket or a wall. But when you have things that repeat themselves, they usually trap your attention because the human eye adores pattern, adores it. We adore repetition. That's why we can identify kind of rhythms in paintings, and sometimes very abstract rhythms, kind of easily, almost like instinctively, because we recognize shapes and we always look for patterns in shapes that repeat. So yeah, that's what that does. So I was saying at the beginning how I thought that would amplify just the that grasping of the hand and how despairing it may be felt.
I think it was an amazing decision. Like, it gave a lot to the painting.
Thank you.
Can I have a sip of your
of course
beverage?
I mean, it's carbonated water
with flavor.
With Flavor Flav. Yeah. Catherine says the lamp, the pillow, the blanket, all amazing. Is there a meaning behind open drawer? As I was saying, I just always felt it was cluttered, and it was a very kind of chaotic drawer. So, I think that echoed what was going on, like the sentiment that, an inner turmoil, was I think was also present in the nightstand.
And it talks about you, because I would say your drawer isn't like exploding right now.
No,
I don't know how your drawer is inside.
Not bad.
But you're the type of person that always puts a lot of things in the nightstand. Like, you're the type
everywhere,
of person.
Actually.
Yeah, no, but the nightstand. I think that's super cool. Like, you're always accumulating things there. Like, things that don't have to be there. Like, sometimes
probably.
I look and I'm like, why is a cap, like a bottle cap here?
Okay, I don't remember that.
Yeah, you had a bottle cap the last time. Yeah, one of these ones.
Inside the...
No, on top. No,
on top.
That's why I'm saying I never look inside. But you always
you don't
put things around. No, because I don't have to. I mean, it's not my place. So it's my place, my house. But it's
you're like gonna get scared. You're gonna get surprised.
No, I wouldn't.
Snakes.
Like, I have things to do. I wouldn't go into your drawer. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, I see that, and I see how that version of you translated into this. Like, it's the same person.
Yeah, nothing has
You're
changed.
just not putting things inside until it doesn't close.
Yeah.
But you're putting things on top.
Yeah.
Like, accumulating things on top. And I think that's super cool. Like, it talks about you. Not cool to put things there, but cool that it talks about you as a person. So
Rosalind said that was a backhanded compliment. That was Danny's ways of saying clean your damn nightstand.
No.
What are you doing, you hoarder? Rosalind says, I'm learning continually from you guys. Today was the enslaved to nature comment. Brilliant. I mean, it's how I feel. Some other people, people don't have to be okay with that comment, or they don't have to feel the same. Some people can be like, I am completely at peace knowing that my job on this earth was to represent nature. And that's totally fine. I think the problem lies in thinking that then you feel that every painter's job is that. Or that every painter has to feel, because you love observing nature so much, that every painter has to feel the same way. Yeah. That's when problems start. So I am just very open in acknowledging the things that I am, the things that I have been, and how that's changed, throughout time. So, have. I'm a self-taught artist with zero formal
art school.
I'm a self-taught artist with zero formal art school, so I appreciate the exposure to other artists, process, and the art conversations. Every bit of knowledge I pick up is greatly appreciated. That's awesome. He also says, love the conversations about food too.
I love
those
them
are never
too.
Going to go away. Come on. Eduard Cepeda, the environment created by you two and the community is excellent painting company. It's got me painting a lot more lately. I just finished making a Pashot box. Oh, dude. Oh, my God.
Out of a briefcase. Super excited. That's amazing.
Yeah, we need
a tutorial.
We need a photo. Yeah, we need a photo.
Tutorial.
That sounds so damn cool.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking of those like 70s suitcase, the ones that were like super hard shell, like plasticky hard shell.
Like a spy one?
Yeah,
No,
or they could be like blue. Think of like a light blue suitcase from like the 70s or 60s.
The leather ones.
Okay. Yeah, that one's kind of cool. My father used to have one of those.
Like the ones that had like a code that you had to put in top.
Yeah.
Like you
those are kind of cool.
Walking like super spy, and then you open.
Those are cool. I'm going to say I like
box.
the hard-shelled one. I think the 60s is better, probably 60s. But I'd be super interested. Send us a photo to our DMs.
Instagrams.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's us, by the way, down there. Follow Danny.
Follow Nicolas.
Don't follow me. Like,
Don't
my Instagram account. Oh my God, it's shot. The Instagram account, Instagram's a joke.
Follow both of us.
It's a joke.
No, follow both of us and our TikTok if you want. It's in the description. We have just one post, but it's there if you want to see it.
Berica says, as one of the broke students you talked about, as all of us, this is definitely a safe space, and working along with you guys over the last years really helped me grow. I'm thankful for everyone in this community. That's awesome.
That's amazing.
That's some of the coolest
Berica.
things that we can hear. That's super, super cool. Josef Ailes. This makes me think about magical realism as compared to surrealism. 100 Years of Solitude by
Herman Gabriel Garcia Rodriguez. Yeah. Gabriel Garcia Marquez.
Yeah, if you guys are not familiar with our biggest author, please check him out. Bryce says, hey Bryce, how you doing? First off, Elden Ring. Yes.
And then Killer Painting
Nicolas. Thank you, Bryce. You're
I have
killer
to say,
artist too.
Maybe it's in my top 5 paintings you did, or top 3.
Oh my God, that's a lot of pressure for me now.
No, because you've already done it. It's a pressure on me that I have to answer to that.
But you know that we're not, this is
a safe space.
This is about, as much as it is about us, I feel that it's also about, like ourselves when we're working. And I think that that's super cool. And when you make it about yourself, you're not competing with anyone.
No, because you're making it about the journey.
Yeah, and you're not competing. Cool. You cease to look elsewhere.
But I have to say, I know it, and I feel that that's the way it is. Yeah. And you feel also that's the way it is. But I feel that when it's our turn, we always...
Oh, horrible pressure.
...are in like a panic attack.
Existential crisis, yeah.
So it's cool to know it's that way.
Yeah.
But
dreadful.
Yeah, but horrifying. It's hard when you have to think about the answer to it. Yeah. But I have to say that, like, it doesn't matter what I answer to, what I answer with. I'm sorry, but I love this painting much.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So.
And to finish, Mikhail says, Mikhail says, oh my God, I want to make the James Gurney Pashad box sketchbook thing. I just have to buy the things now. Oh, yeah. And I think he's got instructions. He even has instructions. Do you know where? Well, he's a genius, but do you know which one just blows my mind?
Which one?
The one that he has for the steering wheel of his car. He has like a little clamp he puts on his steering wheel that he built, like custom.
He's amazing.
So that he could use his steering wheel as an easel. That dude is like...
No, he's amazing. Like,
how is he not on Mount Rushmore?
Like
he's like a treasure.
The tiny machines he did for the intros.
Yeah.
Some time ago.
It's ridiculous.
It was so amazing. Yeah, I loved it.
He's such a geek and so dorky, and he's so unashamed of everything he loves that it makes him like one of the coolest human beings.
And I would say he's like unapologetic. Unapologetically
there we go.
Him.
Yes.
And that's amazing because he feels super genuine.
I think
that's amazing.
I mean,
that's the type of person I really gravitate to.
Overall, people that are,
genuine.
Yeah, and not genuine in the sense that I'm just gonna walk all over everyone else because I want to push the idea of of myself over everyone.
No, of course no.
No.
It's like knowing who they are and being okay with who they are.
That's always
not trying to be more, because I think that it's super annoying when people try to be more.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, I am just this person who knows everything.
No.
In this level. No, of course no. But when you really are yourself and you project
okay with
that because you really, like, you're super in touch with every aspect of what you are.
Oh, coolest thing ever.
Amazing.
Yeah, coolest thing ever.
He's amazing.
Sexiest thing ever.
Sexiest thing
I'm
ever.
talking about Gurney. He is the sexiest thing ever. Yeah.
So again,
it's unicycle.
Thank you everyone.
I could
for being here. What?
Have him for dinner. I don't know what I'm saying.
What? So thank you.
Some Gurney and fries.
Everyone for being here.
And a Diet Coke.
Say something to say bye.
Thank you guys. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll have one of our regular painting
sessions
videos. And
and if you we never say this.
What?
Like we always talk about ringing the bell to get the notifications, but
Please.
I would also like to invite people.
What? Stop it, Danny.
If they want to subscribe to our channel.
Yes.
That would be amazing too.
Oh yeah, if you're hearing this for the first time and you enjoyed a little bit of the conversation that we were having.
Or if you're like a frequent visitor but you haven't subscribed.
Okay, yeah.
It would be super cool if you subscribe, because that's a way for us to know that maybe you would be here more often. And
honestly,
that would make us super happy.
I'm gonna tell you the truth. Honestly, we would want to do it because Fer wants to have the 100,000 plaque, the YouTube plaque. She just wants to take that to school.
One day,
just wants to take it to school. Yeah, but when she's older, if it happens when she's older, like nobody's gonna care. She wants it now, so she could take it to school and just say, you know what, eat it.
Eat it?
I don't know. Well, they don't have to eat it. Like eat it. Like,
yeah, but I don't know if she could
so
be
do
able
it for Fer.
Yeah,
not for us.
No, but for
think of a girl that dreams about being famous.
I don't think it's a good idea for her to put that go with that thing at school.
Small dreams.
No,
of
just
a country
invite
girl
people,
that wants to be famous.
Invite people to see the plague, but not take it to school.
She could take it to school and charge.
No,
she could charge a little bit of money.
No, I think that's dangerous.
To touch it.
Just a picture.
And bring some money home.
Just a picture with it.
It's time she brings some money home. My God. It's been flowing one way
that
for
jokes
10 years
of yours
now.
Are terrible.
It's gotta do something.
Okay, so everyone, do it for Fer.
You told me to say something to finish.
Yeah.
That's where my mind went to.
Cody said do it for Fer.
Hashtag for Fer.
Yeah.
So when we've had this channel for over 2 years. We are 20, I don't even know, 6,000, 26K. So that means we got to work for 8 years. Oh my God.
And then she wouldn't care.
8 years?
About the plague.
8 years. Yeah. What is YouTube, Dad?
Let's see.
What was
What's
YouTube?
Dad? Yeah. What's Dad?
What's Dad?
What's Dad?
It's
Let's
me.
See. I want to see.
Your father that failed to give you 100,000.
28.
Okay.
28,700.
Okay. So we're still 7 years away. Yeah. So
yeah.
Do it for Fer.
We'll see you.
Think about poor girl.
We'll see you tomorrow.
How else is she going to show off?
We'll see you tomorrow.
Yes.
The day after that and the day after that.
Yeah.
And then on
Wednesday
Monday.
and Thursday.
And then on Monday, we'll see you again for my answer to this correspondence. So
amazing.
Happy to have you here always. And we'll see you tomorrow.
Stretch it, Danny.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Subscribe.
Ring the bell.
Bye.